Hello and welcome to the Life Laundry Podcast. I'm Gemma.
Hey, Chippy.
Chippy sent me
talking about anal glands on dogs, not our own, but on dogs. We thought we'd keep that out for the podcast.
Chippy sent me a screenshot from Emma. Thank you, Emma, about Florida.
The laundrettes know they're Florida.
Really? I haven't checked.
Oh, yeah. That was very... I'd go so far as to say Emma is practically a native Floridian at this point.
Okay, well, we can't go in November because there's no holidays, school holidays. But wild card,
yeah,
we might be getting a last minute deal for this March, as in like 2 months' time.
Oh, okay.
But we're not going.
Would that work?
Yeah, over Easter.
No. Well, there was that. I mean, that was very informative. Florida. There was someone else. Did you see? There is. Sarah shared a picture she saw on TikTok that made her think of me. I don't know if you can see this. Read it backwards.
Yeah, do it, Chippy.
Points on license. And do you know what? I had been thinking about doing that, but my thoughts are, do you get an asshole policeman that's like, right, let's get her?
Like you get those people who it says you get an email come through and then on their email signatures, sorry for the brevity, sent from my phone. You could put something like, sorry if you feel like I'm driving too slow and too carefully, but I have got 9 points on my license. Now back off.
Because I get flashed all the time, not by people's willies, but by their car lights. People dangerously overtake me. If I'm doing 30 and a 30, they're like past me, and I'm like, I can't risk my license for you, love. Heather says, Gemma, I've been to Florida once in September, pre-kids, very warm and quiet, and March with kids, which was great, but very busy for spring break.
Yeah, see, this is it. You're stuck.
If I was to go back again, I'd aim for April or October holidays.
October.
Our kids get 2 weeks off in October in the Highlands, and I think all Halloween stuff would be awesome. But I like the heat. I lived in Georgia one summer and the heat was unbearable. Ugh, yeah. Yeah. So there, Gemma.
But then I did get stuck down an Airbnb rabbit hole, and I was going to all sorts of places all over the world. At one point, we were booking a cabin in the woods somewhere up a hill. Oh, it was beautiful. Somewhere in Colorado or something.
We'll get eaten by bears. My dad's 2 friends went on it. I think they were on an army thing, but they might not have been. And one of them got eaten by a bear. And the other one had climbed up a tree. Some really awful things happened to my dad. I mean, obviously this wasn't happening to him, but and the other one had climbed up a tree and had to listen to his friend being eaten by a bear. You know what's really awful about being eaten by a bear? Sorry, everyone. They eat your stomach first.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What?
And they don't care about killing you. Like lions and
God.
If you remember Milo getting a baby bunny and stuff, I don't know, but like Loki will snap a rat's neck really quickly.
Yeah.
And lions will usually go around your neck.
Yeah.
Strangle you, whereas bears don't give a shit.
Oh, that is just awful.
They will just start eating you from the middle out until you go pass out from like shock. So that's my story about bears. Sorry. It's really bad. There was a girl quite recently who got eaten by a bear and she phoned her mum.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm crying. That's awful.
You'd have to stay on the phone. You couldn't hang up.
I can't do that. Although I'd have to, but that's horrendous. Why would you do? Oh, I'm traumatized. You've actually traumatized me.
She was scared. Who'd you phone?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I'm not going to book that Airbnb now.
That's why, like, I'm fairly brave about lots of things, but I don't want to fuck around with bears.
No.
I'm quite strict about, like, I love to be one of these people who are like, I want to travel the world, I want to go everywhere. I've had a bad parasite in my stomach. I'm not sick, as we know, and I've got a friend who got amoebic dysentery in India. I'm not going to go to India. I'm just not going to go. And the way I see it, although that's not very adventurous of me, it just rules out one place. I'm probably
I'm
never
like
going
that with Australia.
Australia.
Someone described it as the devil keeps his pets, and I was like, yeah, that's more or less sums it up. So I'm not going.
That is a very accurate description. I can deal with the snakes. I can't deal with the spiders. My kids wouldn't be allowed anywhere near the sea.
No, I tell you what, I went to Thailand and I went up a hike up a mountain to see a temple, and we had like our guide, and there was this toilet that I had to use because I needed a wee, and it was an outside toilet, right? And I had my wee, and it wasn't until after I finished my wee and was walking away that I noticed the snake that was wrapped around the pedestal of the fucking toilet. I literally ran. I was just like,
oh, I had similar, but I was I think we were in Turkey or Greece. I thought we were in South Africa, but I think we were in Turkey or Greece, and it was the same. It was an outside loo, and I went in, and it was as I was sitting on the loo that I saw a huge spider in the corner above the door, and I was just like, well, the only way out is under this
toilet.
Oh yeah, through the toilet. Whereas now, obviously, I would just start screaming for Joe. I'm such a princess now. I'd be like, no, I'm not moving. I remember on our honeymoon, we were in an island in the Grenadines, and I was having a pee, and there was a cockroach, and it was in the girls' loo in this really nice hotel. And I was like, no, this is not on my watch. So I went out into the restaurant. I went, Joseph, cockroach, girls' loos. And he was like, but it's the ladies' loos. And I was like, I will stand on the door and explain what you're doing in there. But it is not happening. Well, I've got a handy man around with a shoe.
Well, the thing is, going back to Florida, Thomas has a real bad phobia of alligators and crocodiles. So it's not exactly the best.
No, but I think alligators are better than crocodiles. They don't get as big. They're still fucking terrifying. I'm pretty horrified by the thought of crocodiles. We went to South Africa when I was pregnant with Ned. I didn't know. I found out in South Africa, and we went on a safari, and then on the way back, there was this really amazing little island, and you had to get to the island across this river, and in the river are crocodiles, hippos, and tiger sharks, Zambezi sharks. Yeah. And so we had to get this boat across, and then we went on a river tour, and it was lovely. It was really beautiful. Saw lots of animals, but the whole time I was just like, I mean, we're just on a river of death. It's the devil's bath event, essentially. And the guy on the boat said they have literally like 3 deaths a year from drunk people thinking they can jump in one side and swim to the other. It's so weird.
It's not my activity of choice when I've had a couple.
No, mine's having a nap.
Yes.
I'd be like, fine, love, I'm going to have a nap, eat some pizza, watch some telly.
So, yeah, it's not great.
I was like, what mentality do you have if you're like, yeah, I'm going to jump in that river? that's just teeming with crocodiles, hippo, and sharks.
I would venture an arrogant one.
Yes. A man. Literally, they're all men. I don't think the woman has died doing.
I'm going to be the one person that survives the swim of
I can
death.
outswim the swim of death. When I was little, when I was about 9, we were in Zimbabwe. Is it called Zimbabwe anymore? Probably not called Zimbabwe anymore. Is it called Zimbabwe? It was Rhodesia, now it's Zimbabwe. A booze cruise. Well, I wasn't boozing, my parent. It was called a booze cruise. Evening drinks down the Zambezi River.
Very different what we call the booze cruise.
Yes, booze cruise nowadays is not the same. But that was evening, drinks.
Why are you going to Zimbabwe on a booze cruise? Is this close to go?
It was just the evening booze cruise. I think it was the booze cruise because it was the evening boat trip. But it was this square boat. Right. Have you seen them? They're just like square. They're like wood squares.
No, but yeah.
And so my parents were having a nice time. I was 9, and this nice lady kind of adopted me, or I adopted her, and I sat on her knee the whole night. And obviously, you're going down the Zambezi River. It's lovely, but there are crocodiles and hippos in there. And there's this huge bump on the boat at one point, and blah, 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 carry on. And then it turns out that we'd pissed off a hippo, and a hippo come up under the boat to bump us. And my parents have been like, fuck. But me being 9 was like, beep, beep, beep.
Hippos kill people every year than sharks.
They're really mardy. That's why I think, I think I could be fabricating, but the people that died crossing the river, I think it's more often the hippos.
And I can't imagine that would be a very nice way to go either, because they don't really have sharp teeth from what I've seen.
They do, but I mean the power, I think it would just go straight through you. I think the problem with the hippo, I mean, I'm in a very gross mood, aren't I? I think you'd get pierced by it. I don't think the bottom ones you'd get off. I think you'd just be stuck like a kebab on the bottom tooth. So Joe had a meeting on Tuesday night. We're recording on Thursday. And then he was like, so I'll get back late. I'll get a taxi, but then can you take me to the train at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning? And I was like, why don't you just stay in London? It seems silly, waste of petrol, etc. And then he had to be in London again today. So I was like, just stay in London for 2 nights, get loads of work done. Don't be woken up by the Mardy children in the middle of the night. And then, it makes sense. Joe's he's like an extra child, and he likes being at home. So he's away. I don't know how cold it was with you on Tuesday, but Tuesday night, it was like -5 or 6 here. Boiler cuts out. I switch it back on. So our boiler does this. It will cut out, and then you can press the emergency button and it kicks back in. And it did this last year. And I said to Joe, from September, can you book the boiler service? Book a boiler service. Don't want to be doing it in the cold. Get it serviced now, Joe. Book a boiler service. Shall I book the boiler? Shall I do it? You do it. Hasn't done it, obviously. So fire it back up again. I didn't know this. I count you as my queen of all things wood burner. Some firelighters are shit in a wood burner. Some are fine, some are rubbish. Anyway, I could only find the rubbish ones. So the fire wasn't lighting properly. Some of the logs were damp. And it turns out and then I cannot get warm. I'm so cold. I've put hot water bottles in all the kids' beds. And I think, God, it must be really cold outside. It turns out the boiler has gone off again. So just as I'm going to bed, I go and check it, 10:30 at night. It's gone off again. So I fire it back up. There's enough hot water for me to have a shower, by which time my feet are so cold. You know, when you're really cold and your feet touch warm water, it feels like burning. Yeah. So,
Well,
but
you
when I was
can't
in
actually tell whether it's hot or cold, the water.
yeah, I was in the shower and I was like, oh my God, it feels like someone's pouring a kettle over my feet. And I was like, that's really weird because the water on my body is fine. And then I realized it's just that my feet were so cold. Anyway, so then the next morning I woke up and I was like, right, heaters, boilers on, great, no problem. Woke up this morning, got out of bed, was like, boiler's not on. So again, so it's on now, but it just means we've been really cold. So we also have this weird thing at the back of our loo in our ensuite bathroom that you have to get through a hatch. And sometimes it makes a whirring noise that, like, it's not a macerator, but it's something else. It's like a pump that gets stuck on in the cold. So this morning I woke up, there was no hot water, no heating on. So I fired up the thing and then just could hear this whirring. So then I had to get my screwdriver and take the panel off and sort the thing out. And I texted Joe and was like, you're basically redundant. And he'd sent me a photograph, a emoji of a spider. And I was like, no, Ned got a massive spider out the other day. You're essentially just an accessory now, a luxury in the house.
That we just can't afford.
That we can't afford, exactly. But the chickens, their door, so we've got this big aviary that the ducks and the chickens live in, and the ducks and the chickens have their own beds, and the gates of the aviaries are open during the day so they can be in the orchard. But at night they go in their houses, and then the gate to the aviary gets shut, so they've got double protection. And the little chickens have what I think of as a traditional looking chicken coop, where they have like a covered bit and then a mesh bit, and you have a slidey door that opens to a ramp, and the slidey door is frozen shut. So I've had to, luckily I have like those industrial sized straw bags, so I fold that up and it's thick plastic, and I've put that over the open door, and I'm giving them extra food. But their water, actually, it might be okay now. I don't know. Their water just freezes. So as soon as I take it out, it freezes. So it's been a real problem. And the ducks just tread on any water thing and knock it over because they're bastards. So that's my biggest concern so far, has actually been the keeping them hydrated. Don't know about chickens. Ducks need a lot of water and their pond's frozen. What about your chickens?
So talking of cold toes, Thomas sent me a clip of part of Prince Harry's book.
That is Willie.
Just leaving spin, and I was like, what's Tom? He sent me a TikTok, and the first words were, my penis was oscillating. I'm like, oh my God, I thought this isn't meant to be for me. This is surely a message that he should be sending to his mates or something like that. So I like quickly clicked off it. And anyway, it turns out I thought it might have been the passage where Harry talks about losing his virginity behind a pub. But it wasn't. It turns out it was the part where he was talking about his frostbitten penis. But it reminded me because I sent Chippy a video on WhatsApp a couple of weeks ago, and I shall not be offering a commentary on whether I think this is appropriate or not. I am just delivering you the news, which I thought was quite funny. So we were in my favourite charity shop in town because I'm looking for some old thick curtains, like country curtains. No, I don't want them new, right? And I always go over to like the homeware section, see if I can get like a mixing bowl or that sort of thing. And someone had obviously cleared a house, or someone had donated their whole collection of royal commemorative plates. Right, there was like the Queen Jubilee, the Queen Mum, the Queen, like literally everything. Right, so of course I'm like, love this, love it. Yep, I'll have them. I'll have these. I'm like, they were like proper collector's items. I'm not going to put them up. I'm just going to keep them. They might be worth something one day, right? Probably not. Anyway, there's a plate there of Kate and William, right?
Yeah.
£2, right? And then there was a plate. This is the day, I think the day that his book came out, right?
Yeah.
So, and a plate to commemorate, so William and Kate's wedding, and then a plate to commemorate Meghan and Harry's wedding. £1.
Yeah, £1.
Oh, £2. Someone has done Harry and Meghan dirty here, right? So I commented on it to the kids. I was like, this is weird. Who's priced this? This seems like someone who worked in this shop is throwing a little bit of shade, right? So then I went up to the till and with the things, and I said, hey, listen, who priced these? Why? They're the same size. They've got the same
Demand. Yeah.
They've got the same
demand, surely.
Demand?
Yeah. The more demand, the higher the price.
Okay, all right. Well, she didn't say that because they were the same size. They were made by the same company. They were pretty much identical, right? And she just goes, someone who clearly does not like the Duchess. And I was like, but you do. And she's like, yes, and I will be finding out. Oh, shit. Started a fight in the church. I was like, oh, I'm sure it was a mistake.
Oh dear.
I was like, maybe someone, like, they were in separate boxes and like someone priced that and they didn't know what someone else had priced the other one for. And I'm like, you know, when you're just like backtrack.
Don't try and make it better. You've ruined someone's day.
Yeah, so I have actually taken the little stickers off because I just thought they've got enough negativity floating around. They don't really need some charity shop like throwing shade further.
But you need to tell us about your cold chickens.
Oh yeah.
You know what I worry about with the chickens? Their little feet.
So every time, so they started laying again.
Mine haven't.
Okay, so they started laying again and they're full feathered, right?
Yeah.
So they seem fine. I go down every morning and I check their water. I go down every afternoon and recheck their water. They've been having lots of extra food and etc. And they seem all right. Rocky stuck his nose through the gap and almost got his eye taken out.
Yeah.
By one of them. I was like, dude, don't do that. You're not going to win a fight with that chicken there because she is brutal. Like,
it's a chicken.
And they're getting quite possessive over their eggs. So like when I go in and get their egg, by the way, everybody's still not been able to eat an egg. I can't stomach them anymore.
No.
It's like my breakfast choices are like narrowed.
It was obviously
There's something wrong with that egg. It was from a supermarket. It was in date. I don't know. Don't think about it. Anyway, so when I go and collect their eggs, like the boss, the one that's like brutal, she's like a ginger chicken. And she like comes up to you and she like looks at you as this going,
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think you're doing with those?
Whereas my ducks basically can't move without laying an egg. And they don't care. And I read a book about ducks, obviously. And it was like, these kind of ducks do not make good parents. And I'm not surprised. They're literally like, sometimes I go into their box to get the eggs and they've just trodden on them. And sometimes I go in and there's like 5 eggs in there. Now I've got 2 ducks that lay. So I'm like, how are you producing 5 eggs? What is going on here? Very weird. But the chickens are refusing to. They're not laying.
What's been your positive for the week?
Oh God. Partly, my positive approach to the day that I talked about last week has carried on.
Good.
And so that's nice. But also today, this arrived.
Can't see it. M&R.
My Monday night review.
Oh. Cool.
Designed by a friend of mine. Bought in her size because she's so bloody small. So that's exciting. So for ages I've got 2 designs now. Sure, they'll just fly off the shelves, Gemma. But yeah, it's quite nice. I suppose it must be the same. Well, like you do a lot of stuff online. I do a lot of stuff online. It's quite nice when you something physical. Do you know what I mean? Like you must feel if you see the printables, the like wipe clean printable. I'm not going to compare it to the book, but like you're like, there it is. I can see this rather than. It's just really. I think if you spend a lot of time being like, I work on the internet, do you and you must be. I'm an influencer, which I know you never say. The content creator.
I'm actually starting to embrace it now.
Are you this week?
What are you licking?
Don't shout at me, mommy. What's your positive of the week, Gemma Bray? Oh my God. We didn't mention the fact that my TikTok has turned against me.
Oh.
And is just sending me bloody spin classes. I keep forwarding to Gemma because I'm like, why?
Hey, are you getting that one where they're like in a black room and it's like, oh, and they're doing like all this? I want to go.
Yeah, I sent you that. That's one of the ones I sent you.
So good. And I'm like, I've got spin tonight.
People are. Will you be taking that to your spin teacher and being like?
We already do a little bit. We do a little bit of that already.
But you want it more.
Yeah, but what impresses me about those videos is that everybody is in sync. There's not some person.
That lady seems to be like a spin celeb.
Yeah, mate. There's a guy that does it as well.
She does like a world. She goes around the world.
Amazing.
Maybe she'll come to Seven Oaks. But I have to say that if I look at her figure, I'm like, oh yeah, like for that figure, I'd contemplate doing spin and then not do anything at all. But
my positive of the week.
I'm just looking at what her name is, by the way, if you hear a sudden burst of music.
Is that the Amazon shop now likes me again. So for a while, every time I tried to generate an Amazon fresh code on my phone so that I would be graced entry into the shop. Today, the Amazon shop decides that I am now allowed back in. I don't know why. So it just kept saying error code, and we just couldn't fix it. And I've been in and out of the shop trying to fit. Anyway, today I was allowed back in. So for my breakfast day, it's on the way home from school, and they do a really lovely Cumberland sausage and on hot apple sauce bap. So I had that for my breakfast. That's my positive of the week.
I'm just trying to get as warm as possible. With my hand knitted snood. I still haven't even seen an Amazon shop.
Oh.
And you'd think.
Well, you can always tell someone's first time because they're literally sitting there going, I just walk out. Sorry. I just walk.
They have, you know how in some countries now they've got slow checkouts for people who like to chat. I feel like they should have at the Amazon shop just a line for people to go, and I just leave now. Yeah,
there's just always a confused person spinning around going, sorry, I just leave. It feels wrong.
I don't want all the alarms to go off.
There is a designated member of staff going, yeah, honestly, I promise you it's okay just to leave. But where do I get my receipt from? Where's my proof of pay? It'll just get emailed to you. Oh, okay. And then someone just always leaves looking a bit confused.
Be me.
Well, it was me the first time when I went in. I'm like, I don't get it. How do they know? I'm going, how do they know? And the guy was like, there's lots of cameras and lots of sensors everywhere. And I'm like, okay.
I still don't get it. You must be able to.
Even on the carrier bag, it says just walk out. Just walk out.
No fancy pants bag for life or anything like that. It's just leave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just walk out. Yes, it's okay. Just walk out.
Stop asking.
Because they have barriers. So like if you go on Amazon and you go to your like checkout basket on your Amazon account and you click it and it's a little option that says generate fresh code. So you click that and it gives you like a QR code and you scan it like beep, beep, and the gates open that let you in. So then
so it was that, because I was going to say, how were you not getting in?
Yeah, well, my code wasn't generating for some reason. I don't know why. And he said, oh, sometimes that can happen.
Did you send a letter saying, do you know who I am?
Well, I said, sometimes that can happen. It'll write itself in a few weeks. I was like, I need my Cumberland sausage on a bat. Like, and he was like, I said, can I pay cash?
Possibly make it at home.
But there was no option to purchase it at any other way.
Oh, do you know what that's reminded me of? Do you know what? Forever in my heart, Gemma, you will remind me of. We've done 3 books together. We've done a podcast for God knows how long. We've been through some difficult times. Every time I look at you, a tiny percentage of my brain will always think slow cooker.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I think that's because when I first saw you, I was like, she should be doing a recipe book or a book. I mean, that's obviously why I first messaged you. But like, I think one of the first things, because I'm not into cleaning. I don't know if anyone who's ever been to my house would know. So I just sort of scrolled past any housekeeping, cleaning stuff. And so I think I probably first engaged with you in terms of like your slow cooker recipes. And literally I looked at you and was like, oh, I'm going to try using my oven as a slow cooker today. That's reminded me. And then I'm like, whatever Gemma does, when Gemma is president of the world, I'll be texting her going, can you just remind me how you do your slow cooker fake away? I know you're busy. Jacinda.
She cried.
Also, there's a face that Joe does, which I call his bad news face, which he only does when he's delivering what he believes is bad news, but it's actually really good news. Like, someone's cancelled coming to our house for the weekend. Oh dear, that's so sad, Joe. And he does this face and it makes me want to slap him. I don't want to be offensive, sorry. But there's something, probably everyone's partner has a face that they can pull that makes you really angry. But what I managed to do, although I was very distressed about her quitting because I think she's bloody brilliant, I did manage to hear she pulls Joe's bad news face, saying, this is your bad news face. She's borrowed it. She's actually delivering bad news. But I'm sad about that, Gemma. But yeah, you're forever associated with slow cookers in my... I won't be happy until you're in one of those Lakeland catalogues with the Gemma Bray slow cooker. Modelled by you and Rocky.
Yeah, I've got Rocky. Rocky that is there so everyone knows, like, size comparison. This is how big it is compared to a Jack Russell.
You can't fit a puppy in there.
We went to walk this morning, didn't we, Rocky? He was like this all over on the ice. He was...
Oh, I've got to take mine for a walk.
Okay, so on that note, say goodbye to everybody, Chippy.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.